Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is Tuesday, June, July. Heck, I don't even know what month we're in. I sound like Joe Biden. We're kicking the morning off right, folks. Patriots, it's great being back with you on this fine Tuesday morning. And as always, Joe Biden. Good old Joey. The geriatric, the puppet, the child sniffer, the guy that hits a golf ball backwards. That really did happen. Falls up a flight of stairs, looks for dead people in the crowd. Is conversing with dead people. That one still gets me like a year into it. This dude not only hears people, but he's seeing dead people. This guy fights with this teleprompter every single day. Just yesterday, the teleprompter won again. It's the most insane statistic in all of politics. Joe Biden is by far, not even close, the worst president in American history. Patriots, it's great being back with you on this fun Tuesday morning. And of course, I know it's July 2nd. We got 2 days before Independence Day. And let me give you a little bit of behind the scenes of what's been going on. Yesterday, we did a bunch of testing. We're trying to work with Rumble to kind of use their platform as the main hub and then distribute everything out to like YouTube, Twitter, and all the other places. And so not that that has anything to do with what just happened, but, we wake up about an hour and a half, hour before the show starts. We do all the prep the night before. I get everything going about 50 minutes, 45 minutes before the show starts. You have it all laid out and nice in front of you. And check this out. I'm with you guys in the chat, right? I said, good morning, Patriots. We fire up OBS, which is the software we use, and everything crashes on me. Yo, I spent 45 minutes getting all the clips and everything set. System crashes on me. So, we're doing this raw, baby. We're shooting from the hip now because everything's all out of order. It's all jumbled, but we're still going to bring the news to you because that's what we do here, folks. Couldn't be more excited to spend this fine morning with all of you. And yes, calling me a boomer. Get out of here, Shib. I feel like one this week with all the technology issues and everything. But with that being said, that's not going to stop us, oh Shibaton. We have here Joe Biden just continually flubbing. And this is not going to stop, but there's a lot of calls for him to drop out. And as the title says, Joe Biden is not dropping out. He is not going to leave this race, even though the Democrat Party wants him to. And I'm sure there's some calls in his inner family, his inner circle, saying, hey, Joe, maybe now's the time to tap out, but he's not going to do it. So here's kind of behind the scenes discussion and kind of acknowledging the fact that he's not leaving.
Any talk of him pulling out among the inner circle?
No, he is moving forward. And that inner circle sees him every day, including his family.
How often do you see him? Do you have personal interaction with him?
I'm here in my personal capacity, so I can't really talk about but I can tell you this. Everybody who is saying he should be running again knows and sees the president on a daily basis. And so going forward, he's got to prove, right, that he's up to it. And he started that on Friday. He continued that on Saturday, and he's going to continue it going forward.
Any talk of...
You love how she dodged that one? Well, how often do you talk to the president? Well, hey, I'm here on personal capacity. I can only talk about me personally. Nobody sees this guy. Remember how there was a conversation a while back when there was a toughie going on between John Kirby and jean-pierre, and the discussion was surrounding the fact that they were splitting time on the podium because jean-pierre, quite frankly, can't do her job. And John Kirby was getting all the FaceTime with Joe Biden where jean-pierre wasn't. And so she was not seeing the president at all, but yet somehow she was expected to brief all of us of what the hell's going on around the country. Same thing here. You have her not talking to the president whatsoever, and she's going around hosting stuff, doing all these interviews and everything like that, going, well, no, Joey's not going to drop out of the race. Just yesterday, we were hearing Joe Biden was going to drop out of the race. That was mostly coming from Bill O'Reilly, and he was saying he had sources behind closed doors. And now we're saying his inner circle, well, they're saying, stick it out, Joe. You got this, buddy. You're going to be okay. These wires, they're going to sort themselves out after a while. So it's really remarkable stuff. And as we head into July 4th, you know, it kind of sets us up for paying, I don't know, $7 to feed an individual. And so with that, Joe's causing everything to be more expensive. Well, if you got a guy that's already 3.5 years into his presidency causing things to be 20 to 30% more expensive, then what's another 4 years of this guy in office going to do to the rest of us? Well, you'd imagine it's going to be another 20, 30% more.
In your budget this 4th of July. To help save money, some experts recommend combating inflation by buying generic products rather than name brand. They also recommend sticking with the basic necessities this year and avoid buying any items that may not be used. According to e-commerce tracker Pattern, condiments, meat, and sunscreen are going to be your biggest ticket items for the holiday. Get this, the average price of ketchup is up 10% over the last year. Hot dogs and hot dog buns will also cost you a little bit more than they did last year, but the biggest spike shock of all this 4th of July is sunscreen. That's up 31%. We might be adjusting.
Folks, these numbers are year after year. Since Joe Biden's taken office, you're looking at a 30% increase. It's going to cost you on average $7 to feed one person during 4th of July. Now, I understand some people eat more than others, but that's just an average. That's just kind of a ballpark. And so spending is just through the roof. And like I mentioned, 30% increase here.
This week is Independence Day week. Inflation is going to be hitting your backyard barbecue this year a bit more than normal. According to a survey by the American Farm Bureau, food prices are breaking records this year, spiking 30% in the past 5 years and costing at least $7 to feed just one person. This is a first in the survey's history. One store manager in Tyler says
it's the first in the survey's history. Sweet Jesus.
Inflation has hit us all and has customers shopping around even harder to find the best deals.
Well, I know a lot of shoppers do shop different stores that actually they can afford, and they look at sale prices as opposed to just everyday prices, and that will help with the cost and how the inflation has hit the economy.
The report also shows meat will put the biggest dent in your wallet this year. 2 pounds of ground beef will cost an average of $12.77. That's an 11% increase in just 1 year. And this week is
Dude, just trying to feed a family with Joe Biden in office is tough. And this guy says, hey, don't worry, give me 4 more years, I'll figure it out. Why haven't you figured it out now? You want to know why, Joe? Because you decided to pump the economy full of trillions of dollars and just go, there's not going to be any long-term effects or ramifications. Really, Joe? You know what? We're going to make sure the bargaining chip is in the wallets and the pockets of those that are in the employees now. We want the employees to be able to bargain higher wages, which is going to cost everybody else more money at the grocery store and at services that they're getting. So nice job, Joe. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love more money in the pockets of Americans, but that's not what you want to do. And that shows all over the board, from inflation to the way that you're increasing certain tariffs, which is just basically a tax on the American people. You're going to sit there and increase people's taxes, maybe not the brackets themselves, but by removing the deductions, everybody's going to owe about $500 to $3,500 more once you take office again. Let's hope, God forbid, that doesn't happen. So this whole idea that, I'm going to sit there and fix things. Dude, you had 4 years to do it, and you didn't do anything other than ruin this country. I don't think you'll do anything in the next 4 years other than exacerbate the issue. So because Joe Biden's brain doesn't work, the Democrat Party is still on cleanup duty. That is how bad that debate was. That is how bad things are behind closed doors, that the Biden campaign sent out interns, like we talked yesterday. They sent out interns to defend Joe Biden's humiliating debate performance. And we have leaked audio here of kind of what this sounds like. It's not much, but here's what that sounds like behind closed doors.
Campaign officials addressing hundreds of donors on a conference call last night. The audio obtained by NBC News from someone who was on the call.
The media has spent a ton of time blowing this out of proportion.
He's probably in better health than most of us.
Campaign officials.
Look at these quotes. The media has spent a ton of time blowing this out of proportion. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. This is the best. This is the best one. This is the best one. This is the campaign chair. He's probably in better health than most of us. What a slap to everybody. What a slap across the face to literally everybody. Jean-Pierre was saying the same thing. She was saying, this guy's sharper than ever. He's a mentor. He asks us the hardball questions. I'm in there every day with him, which we know is bullshit because there was already the leaked article that came out a few months before she said that, saying that she wasn't getting time with the president. Oh, well, he sits there and he pushes us. He's a motivator is what she said. Really? How about you motivate the guy to get his ass out of bed and actually run the country? How about instead of him allegedly motivating all of you guys as staffers, how about you motivate him to do his damn job and stop reaming us from behind each and every day? That would be a nice one. But this guy's so far off his rocker that, remember, 35% roughly thought the guy had a great debate. The guy did phenomenal. I mean, if you want to lowball it, what are we looking at? 25% said, yeah, he won. 25% of people walked out of that and go, hell yeah, Joe, putting on their Spirit jerseys for Go Joey. I mean, a lot of them were illegal immigrants, but Go Joey, come on, man. It's remarkable. It shows you how much you can really trust these polls. People are going to vote for Joe, and being a doddering old fool that he is. So take it for a grain of salt. People are going to vote for Joe regardless of whatever he does. You can physically chauffeur Joe Biden out on a gurney, just, puppeteer the guy, which is basically what they are doing, and they'll still vote for him. So here's another Democrat, Mark Quigley. I think Biden has to be honest with himself. Joe Biden doesn't even know who he is. How can he be honest with himself if he doesn't know who? Joe Biden hasn't told a lie in Joe Biden has only told lies for 40 years. He hasn't told the truth in over 40.
But I think he has to be honest with himself. This is a decision he's going to have to make. He clearly has to understand, I think what you're getting to here is that his decision not only impacts who's going to serve in the White House the next 4 years, but who's going to serve in the Senate, who's going to serve in the House, and it will have implications for decades to come.
It sounds like you're actually open to the idea that it might be the right decision for him to step aside.
I think what I'm stressing is it has to be his decision, but we have to be honest with ourselves that it wasn't just a horrible night. But I won't go beyond that out of my respect and understanding President Joe Biden. But I think he has to be honest with.
He had a bad night, but we're not going to go beyond that for out of respect of Joe Biden. Give me a break. We all know what that means. The guy's gone. And you as a party, the Democrat Party, played it off as this guy's okay. But we were here since day one calling out the shit. I mean, we did full videos of this guy. I mean, some of our most popular videos of like 3 million plus views are of Joe Biden just fumbling through his words. And they played off, he's fit, he's fine, he's sharp. For years they did this. And then they expect us to actually take them seriously, you guys. They expect us this November, hell, even right now, to listen to all their words. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, hell, even some of our personal Democrat friends that we have in our real life. We're supposed to take all these people seriously. I can't fathom that. These are friends, like in real life. Remember, back in 2016, Trump's a racist. Look what he said about Charlottesville, the Russia hoax. Look at, he's in bed with the Russians. He's pee-peeing on the bed, all this stuff, right? This made up stuff. And they pushed it on Facebook, Twitter, all these things for 4 years. And we had to listen to them bitch and complain for 4 years because Donald Trump won, and rightfully so. He kicked Hillary Clinton's ass. Damn right. Well, we had to sit there and pretend to take them seriously while they burned down our cities, right? With Black Lives Matter and Antifa assaulting journalists, taking over entire city sections and blocks like Chop and Chaz. So we had to listen to this for 4 years. Right now, after everything that's going on and everything they did, we're supposed to take them seriously. These people are like, well, the president now, after the immunity case, which we'll get to in one moment, well, now he could sit there and tell the Navy SEALs to go kill his political opponents. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't mean to cuss. I apologize, but what? We're supposed to take them seriously. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't recommend you go take this out. We're doing a little bit of rant right here. You guys love the rant. Did you hear about the Pride Parade that happened over the weekend? Like the end of the Pride, it was like their hoorah. People were giving, this was in San Francisco. There's audio and video of it on Twitter, also known as X. These people were giving each other blowjobs in front of children. And then they were peeing on each other. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in public in front of, I'm like, I'm at a loss of words of what I saw. I don't recommend you go look at it, but we're supposed to take these people seriously at the end of the day. These people that are conducting smash and grabs, these people that want to increase your taxes, the foreign policy sucks. They're voting for a guy that's brain doesn't work. They want us to take him seriously. And so Joe Biden is the guy that's now we're supposed to take serious with all this stuff, as well as the American people.
I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years. Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me.
Yeah, you're damn right I'm showing that, because it shows hypocrisy that I know I will respect the limits of the presidential power as I have for 3.5 years. And then just like a day later, he goes, Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So if you recall, this guy implements student loan debt forgiveness because you're liable now for everybody's stupid actions of taking out a loan that they can't afford. So now you're a co-signer to everybody else's stuff. Thank you to Joe Biden. So because he didn't get his way, as you saw, he trashed the Supreme Court yesterday. So President Joe Biden struggled on Monday in his first remarks since his disastrous debate performance last week and refused to answer all the questions. So Biden's remarks came in response to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling this week that presidents are immune from criminal prosecution for official acts. And we'll break that down in just one moment, but that's official acts they make as president, but not official conduct. Okay, so that's important because there are people going out and saying, oh, well, the president could have Navy SEALs come out and all this stupid shit. So the nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the president of the United States. Biden said, let that one sink in. This dude that says, I did nothing wrong. Hey, Joe, why do you got checks coming in from China for like millions? Why do you got checks coming in from Ukraine for millions? Hey, Joe, just a quick question. Hey, Joe, why do you got questions coming in from Romania in the millions? Answer me that. No, Joe, you never given an answer. Where's that money coming from? Like, what do you know other than politics that has you banking in $3, $4, $5 million from all these different countries? Is it your businesses? Because those businesses have fraud risk associated to them. Yeah, no, like 120 fraud risks violations. Like, what's going on with that, Joe? Like, why does nobody answer to those? But don't worry, nobody's above the law, you guys. Nobody. The quid pro quo you done on camera? Yeah, you're right, bud. No, you're right. Yeah, Joe, Joe, you're not above the law, are you, big guy? Oh, the big guy. Sorry, whoa, that one slipped. My bad. The 10%. Oh no, not 10%. My bad, Joe. My bad. You're just a big guy, dude. You're just a big guy. You think that's the way they talk to him? Do you think that's how he got the big guy? I see you guys in the live chat. I see y'all in the live chat. Dizzy, Bear, Cece, Sweet, Pat, Danielle, Patriotic Troll, Kathy, all those over at Rumble, Willie, Crowley, Michelle. I see all of you over there. I see Patrick on Twitter. Hey, folks, do you think that's how he got the title the big guy? Because they were talking to him like he's a child. What's up, big guy? Come here, big guy. How you doing? You want the money? Yeah, big guy? Like, come on. Come on. But today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what the president can do. There are limits. They said that right here. It's literally right there, and this dude's going to come out and saying, hey, well, there's just no limits. It said it right there. God, this guy's an idiot. For all practical purposes, again, there's no limits to what the president can do. This is fundamentally a new principle, and it's not, and it sets a dangerous precedent. Oh, God, the democracy. By the way, they're asking, like Cory Bush right now is asking to pack the courts, which Joe Biden already promised that he was going to do. So Biden's claim is false. The Supreme Court ruling made clear that there are limits of what the president can do legally. Guys, there's limits even in the Constitution. I don't know where this guy pulls this stuff out of his diaper, but he pulls it out from somewhere, and he sits there, and he pushes this stuff, and Democrats go, oh, I believe it. Look what he could do. He could just go kill people on Fifth Avenue. Like, we'll break this down. Just 1 second here. Specifically, immunity only applies to official actions that fall within the outer perimeter of the president's official responsibilities so long as they are not manifestly or palpably beyond his authority. But they don't get that, you guys. They just push this stuff. And so, as you saw, let me pull it up here for you. And it's going to be this one. Here we go. You have this that happened yesterday, okay? We did this in breaking news yesterday, that the Supreme Court rules Trump has immunity. Now, I said, hey, you know what? I'm not sure how far this goes. And my question was the question that everybody was asking themselves, which we'll get to, is, well, what's the difference between official acts and unofficial acts? And I'm going to break it down for you as I promised. I said, hey, maybe we'll do a separate show yesterday, but we were working on stuff. So let's break this down for you. I'm not going to rehash this whole thing because we already went over it. But as you saw, there's this immunity case, right? And this immunity case is really circulating around Trump pleading not guilty to charges, accusing him of unlawfully plotting to overturn the results of the 2020 election back to the lower courts. So this whole idea of like, well, you know, the whole Trump thing and he got his way on this. Not really. They just ruled of like, yeah, you know what? This is what we're sticking with, but we're going to push it down to the lower courts because we need to define exactly what the lower courts were talking about in this 2020 election versus what they were presenting to the Supreme Court. So this is not said and done by any means. You're going to see this come up again for sure. And I would imagine once the lower courts actually dictate certain things, which we'll cover in just one moment, this is going to come back to the Supreme Court again. And who knows, then it may not go Trump's way when that comes back up. So what exactly do we have here? So there's the idea between official acts and non-official acts or unofficial. Okay. So the definition, let's just kind of break this down. Official acts are actions taken by president as part of their duties and responsibilities in their capacity as the head of state and government. Okay. This is basically like looking at the scope of the presidential authority, his public interest. And these examples would be kind of signing or vetoing legislation, issuing executive orders, like his actual constitutional authority, his actual duties that he's supposed to carry out, you know, making appointments of federal judges, those types of things. So those would be like official acts, okay? Whatever's within the legal jurisdiction of the president. Then you had unofficial acts, which are actions taken by an individual who happens to be president, but is not part of their official duties. Some examples are like personal business dealings, if he's interfering with elections for personal or political gain. But here, there's a problem with that, and there's a caveat, which I'll explain in just one moment, because Democrats are going to rush with this one. So again, let me repeat this. Unofficial acts, actions taken to interfere with elections for personal or political gain. Here's the problem. Any president that's running for re-election, no matter who you are, is going to be doing actions that are for political gain. Like from the onset, even when there's not an election, they're going to be doing official acts that are for political gain to be able to get reelected, even while they're president, even if they don't even decide to run for reelection again, it's still for political gain. And what would that political gain be if it's not for an individual? It's still for a party base. It would be for the Republican Party or say the Democrat Party. So that's the one that they're talking about here. That's the big deal. And I'll explain why I don't think that's going to work out. One of the reasons being everybody's going to be trying to push for political gain. So here's the application to the actual Trump case with official and unofficial. So if Trump's efforts to challenge the 2020 election results are deemed part of his official duties, you know, example, challenging election procedures or results as part of a legitimate legal process, they could be considered official acts, potentially entitling him to the immunity. So he would be good. But here's the idea, and here's the other caveat for unofficial. If his actions are viewed as attempts to subvert the democratic process for personal political gain, pressuring officials to change vote counts, inciting violence to disrupt certification of results, they would be considered unofficial acts and not protected by immunity. Here's the problem, though. As I've mentioned, that one falls out of the bucket because everything you're going to do would technically fit under official acts because it's all going to be for political gain. You can't take that political gain and just move it willy-nilly because it fits your narrative into unofficial acts. And by the way, this whole idea that you have to prove motive, you don't have to prove motive on this. And motive wouldn't work, by the way, because, again, everybody has the motivation to sit there and push political gain because they want to be reelected as president. That's the whole idea. So I think, here's my guess, I think the lower courts are going to try to define the latter. The lower courts are going to say the latter. They're going to say, well, it's unofficial because he was doing it for personal gain, and this was the motive for his personal gain because of such and such. And then when it goes to the Supreme Court, well, hell, I don't know. So that's basically where we're at with this. So it's not even close to being done, you guys. Not even close to being done. So that's kind of the update of what's going with it. It was a win for Trump, but as I mentioned, you had some of these Supreme Court justices go, well, all 3 liberal justices opposed the ruling. In her dissent, Sonia Sotomayor suggested that the majority's reasoning would allow the president to get away with ordering the Navy SEALs Team 6 to assassinate a political rival. What? Organizing a military coup to stay in power and taking a bribe in exchange for a pardon. But that goes beyond that goes beyond the official duties of the president. Like that goes beyond a lot of things. And by the way, wouldn't you expect this to come from the Democrat Party more than the Republican Party? Hear me out. We just got done for 3 years hearing Joe Biden tell us that we're a threat to democracy, that we're a threat to the republic, and not just us, but also Donald Trump. So if he's a threat to the country, if he's a threat to the republic and democracy and everything we bestow in this country, every value, ideology, and creed that we hold dear to us, if he's a threat to that, what would stop Joe Biden from doing this then? I mean, Joe Biden's the one that's sitting there pushing this whole narrative, is he not? He's pushing it so far, as we just covered about a week and a half ago. If you're a MAGA supporter, if you sit there and support Donald Trump, if you ever served in the military, which we do have a lot of veterans in our chat, by the way, we got a lot of patriots that are not just members, but also subscribers to the Bald Brad Show. If you are a religious person, which I imagine a lot of us are people of faith, doesn't matter where you're coming from as far as a certain faith, you are deemed by Department of Homeland Security under the advisory board of Joe Biden to be a terror risk in your own country. What's stopping from Joe Biden taking all of us out if we're a terror risk? This is the guy that sat there and didn't allow you to go to your synagogues or your temples or your churches during COVID. This is the guy that actually went after his political opponents, not just Donald Trump. No. This is the guy that utilized the IRS to go after his political opponents. This is the guy that locked up pastors, priests, and other leaders of faith and put them behind bars during COVID. This is the guy that sat there and went after business owners. This is the guy that sat there and pushed all these hoaxes upon the American people. I would sit there and think that Joe Biden would do this way more, and I don't think he would do it, but if I was to gamble, I would say that Joe Biden's more likely to do this than Donald Trump ever would. Why? Because I saw how Donald Trump was president, and I've seen how Joe Biden was vice president for 8 years, and I've seen how he's president for 4, and it's been dog shit through and through. I mean, if you want to get into the whole espionage thing under Barack Obama when Joe Biden was VP, if you want to get in the handling of Ukraine when Barack Obama was president, Joe Biden was VP, if you want to get in the handling of how they handled the Fast and Furious case of giving drugs and money and guns to the cartel and waiting for accidents to happen and murders and then tracking everything after, we can get into all that. The guy's been terrible. He's been terrible for 50 freaking years, and they want to vote for the guy again. So there's that one from the Supreme Court. A little bit of a rant. But we also have this one where the Supreme Court rules on social media, nobody's really touching on it. And what they do with this one, well, they just threw it to the lower courts again. So another Supreme Court case we're going to potentially see in the future here. And I kind of want to break it down, but we'll kind of give you a synopsis first. So the Supreme Court unanimously opted to basically push the lawsuit to the lower court brought by Net Choice against Florida and Texas to a lower court. The trade association challenged laws in Florida and Texas establishing consequences for social media companies for restricting posts created by conservative users. Okay. So what does all that mean? Basically what's happening, and we've seen this happen to our channel, is there's big tech out there that's utilizing their platforms to censor, to shadow ban, and disrupt conservative ideas to getting out to people. This goes from allegedly Facebook, it goes from YouTube to previously Twitter that we saw the Twitter files come out. And so it is happening. I mean, Dan Bongino has full-fledged been banned from YouTube. We've seen people like Charlie Kirk, Jordan B. Peterson of Daily Wire. We've seen the editor-in-chief of The Federalist. They were all sit there and got suspended for no joke saying a man is a man and a woman is a woman. They all got suspended for saying that. I'm not even sure. I'm not even like going beyond what they said. That's just what it was. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. They got suspended. So we all know this is going on. I think we're all behind that, the fact that this is taking place. And my live chat keeps getting kicked off. I'm sorry, but like, you know, that's why we got to figure out the Rumble. Hey, if anything's aren't going smooth on YouTube, guys, head over to Rumble. I think Rumble's going smooth. You guys let me know in the Rumble chat. I see all of you. Let me know if Rumble is going smooth. Make sure you throw that follow on Rumble. We're trying to increase our Rumble viewership here. So with that being said, can you do that's the question. Can you sit there and say, like us on YouTube, can they delete your guys' comments? That's basically the question that's being asked here. Can they sit there and say, you know, we don't like what Brad says, so we're going to remove his stream? Can they say, hey, you know what? He said this bit right here. We deem that as misinformation or disinformation. We're going to go ahead and just cut that segment out altogether out of his show. You know what? We don't like what he's saying here, so we're going to deem it as copyright, and let's hit him with a strike like they did yesterday and take down our stream. So this is kind of the conversation that's going on with the Supreme Court, and it's a big deal, especially to us, but all of you, because can they sit there and do that and limit your freedom of speech on social media platforms? Well, check this out. So I'm going to go a step further than what anybody's talking about here. There's the idea behind these social media companies being publishers. So there's an argument to be had that these social media companies are curating content, and hence what the whole Supreme Court case was about, where these social media companies are exercising what's called editorial discretion. And this is similar to what traditional publishers do. And this invokes making decisions about what content to promote, demote, and ultimately remove altogether. And how is this relevant to the case? Well, the Supreme Court's consideration of whether Florida and Texas infringe on the platform's editorial discretion aligns with the viewpoint I just displayed, where the court needs to determine if social media companies' content moderation is a form of protected expression under the First Amendment, akin to editorial choices made by traditional publishers. Well, then if you're going to sit there and make editorial decisions based on publishers, would you thus then be liable for what's being published? And if you're liable for what's being published, then there's a whole different treatment that needs to be displayed here. But they are acting as publishers if they are removing or censoring content, if you hear what I'm saying. Well, there's liability and regulations involved in all that. Are you guys okay with me going in depth on this? I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore you. Is this going too far? You guys let me know in the chat. There's a little bit of a delay, but I'm going to wait it out. I don't want to go too far and bore you guys going, Brad, this is a snoozer, move on. We'll give you the deets if you guys want it. You're not giving me anything of like, oh, this is bad or something, but I just want to know. Because sometimes, you know, I get kind of nerd out on this stuff and I don't want to bore you in the morning. You're going to fall asleep like Joey. What's happening? While we're waiting, I see all of you. Girl who waited, PA, I think that's what it says. My eyes aren't that great. Shib's here. Shib's been a long-time supporter of the Bald Brad Show. We got Lulu. We got Dizzy Def. Dizzy Def, folks, hooked us up yesterday. He had a big donation. Big donation. Again, follow us on Rumble. We're trying to increase the Rumble views. I see all of you over at Rumble. Rumble's really a patriotic platform, folks. This is a place where I feel safe on Rumble. You know what I mean? I feel more safe on Rumble than I even do on Twitter and YouTube. And by the way, the stream on Rumble is freaking solid. We're looking good. All right, saying, hey, let's hear it, brother. All right, that's all I need to hear is just one of you. All right, so with these social media companies, in terms of the liability and litigation, we're looking at the fact that social media companies are acting as publishers. That's a problem because they should be then liable for the content of whatever they're publishing and removing. And so they should not benefit from the same protections as neutral platforms under what you've heard in the past called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. So you got to pick which one you are. And they're kind of, I don't want to say they're crossing the line. They're walking the fine line of being under Section 230 and not being under Section 230. And that's, again, a problem. So how is this relevant? Again, is the laws in Florida and Texas aim to pose regulations on social media companies reflecting a belief that these platforms are not merely neutral conduits of information, but active participants in shaping the discourse. And I think we would all agree that there was shaping of discourse here because the fact that they're removing and censoring content. I mean, you guys have emailed me, you've thrown in the comment section, I've had to write this comment 5 times. Somebody just yesterday said they couldn't even write the word Trump in the comment section. So that's why we got to go over to Rumble, baby, and follow over at Rumble, because Rumble ain't, as far as I'm aware, not censoring any of you guys. Rumble's allowing the stuff to thrive. But I hear all of you guys being unsubscribed. I hear you guys, the comments are getting deleted. I don't do any of that. That's all YouTube. Allegedly. We don't be, Jesus, Dizzy's coming out of the gates again. FJB, you're damn right, man. I'll say it for you. Fuck Joe Biden. God bless America. Trump 2024, baby. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much, Dizzy. Dizzy and Deaf. Dizzy and Deaf. It's amazing, man. Amazing. So we got to see here how this applies to free speech and censorship. And you're damn right I'm going in depth on this because it affects all of you and, again, me. I mean, anything that's challenged from our Second Amendment and First Amendment, I feel like we need to spend a lot of time on, and I think you guys deserve it because you're here with me, and I want you guys to be totally informed on this if you're not already. So we got to contend the fact that social media companies, just by moderating the content based on political viewpoints, are in fact engaging in censorship. And what that does is it completely threatens free speech, particularly conservative point of views. Am I right? So, which is a big deal for us because we're a conservative news outlet. We want to get conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers. So the Florida and Texas case here definitely challenges that viewpoint, and the Supreme Court's decision basically involves assessing whether such laws unduly burden the platform's right to moderate content and disclose these policy moderation. So we'll have to see what happens to this, but I want to give you a potential outcome here. Kind of wrap this whole Supreme Court thing up with a nice little bow on top. Is the potential outcome is if the courts ultimately side with the argument that social media companies act as publishers, it could lead to an increased regulatory scrutiny and even potential changes in Section 230, the protections that involve within that. Conversely, it could uphold the platform's rights to moderate content freely, and it could reaffirm, their status as protected speakers under the First Amendment. Basically, you're going, well, Brad, you didn't really give me an answer of what the outcome's likely to be. I don't know what the outcome's likely to be, and neither really does the Supreme Court as of what we've been displayed or have been given in their opinions. We don't really know where they're going with this. And I think the problem they're having is there's huge impacts of what could be the potential of unraveling from these type of decisions. So we'll keep you up to date, man. There is some wild stuff going on there with all those things. And so speaking of kind of free speech and, the Supreme Court and all those other things, the big news yesterday as well, kind of doing a hard transition, is former Trump aide Steve Bannon begins federal prison sentence yesterday. And this is insane. It's insane because this guy's being thrown in federal prison, but Merrick Garland isn't. And I'm going to kind of hound Republicans here, and specifically Representative Luna Paulina, who we love here on the show. We love Representative Luna Paulina, but she had a conversation with the Speaker of the House, and they're not moving forward like she promised last Friday to go after Merrick Garland. And so we'll get to that in just one moment. Former President Trump, White House chief strategist Steve Bannon, whether you like him or not, I heard this guy's kind of not that great behind closed doors, reported to federal prison on Monday after the Supreme Court declined to postpone his sentence while his appeals his conviction on contempt of Congress charges. So he was sentenced to 4 months in prison after he was convicted for not complying with the subpoena from the Democrat-run January 6th committee. So this guy doesn't sit there and comply with the subpoena, but Merrick Garland and a bunch of other people that we've seen over the years don't comply either, and nothing happens to them. Where are Republicans at on this? Again, registered Republican myself, fiscal conservative at heart, Donald Trump supporter, Trump 2024, baby. But where are Republicans at on this? Why is it Democrats always getting away with everything, and then Republicans go on TV and they complain about the fact that, it's a two-tier justice system. Oh, look at the double standard. Then why don't you put it up for a vote to get the guy locked up? Why don't you take the sergeant in arms and knock on Merrick Garland's door because he didn't comply with the subpoena to give you the recordings of Joe Biden fumbling through his words during his deposition? And why is he not in there? That's my question. I think we all have the same question here. I think it's a great question to ask. So before turning himself in, he went to Connecticut and basically spoke to a bunch of people. And he said, I'm proud to go to prison. If this is what it takes to stand up to tyranny, if this is what it takes to stand up to the Attorney General Merrick Garland, corrupt criminal DOJ, if this is what it takes to stand up to Nancy Pelosi, if this is what it takes to stand up to Joe Biden, I'm proud to do it. So kind of a little bit of a spin there of why he's proud to do it. And I don't think anybody should not comply with the subpoena. I think you should comply with it. I think if Congress says you need to show up, you need to show up. But, you don't see too many people being locked up, folks, for not complying with the subpoena. And like I mentioned, Representative Anna Paulina said that she was going to sit there and basically go after Merrick Garland, but she didn't do it. And that's what we have right here. So now what she's going to do is she's going to try to vote on a measure to impose a $10,000 per day fine on Attorney General Merrick Garland every day he does not turn in audio tapes. Do I like the idea? Yeah, because I think it punishes him more than it would if he was just to be thrown in jail. So she is now threatening to force a vote on a measure to impose a $10,000 fine if he doesn't overturn the audio tapes. Now, here's the thing. Just overturn the tapes. You have nothing to lose if you're part of Biden's team at this point. After what we saw from the debate, what do you have to lose? The guy looks like a complete nut job. He is so far off his rocker. Holy Lord, you guys seen that breaking news? Oh, baby, I was waiting for this. It's been 2 weeks. Oh, the Lord answers our prayer. Karine Jean-Pierre to face press for first time since Biden's disastrous debate performance at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're damn right we're going live later today, boys and girls. Oh, man. Yeah, we'll be live later today again. We're watching that one live. That's breaking news right there. So if you're with us at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, we will be live for that press conference. We'll be live. So join us if you can. If you want to listen on audio, you totally can. I apologize for doing a slight deviation there, but that's big news, baby. Dude, she's going to get ripped apart. She's going to get freaking destroyed. She's had, like a week to prepare for this now, like Joe Biden did for the debate. Yeah, it could be a fun shit show. You're damn right. Oh, it's going to be good. Okay, so back to this. Sorry. So Luna said she would force a vote on her inherent contempt resolution against Garland on Friday, which we mentioned. But sources are saying that she agreed to delay the move after a conversation with Mike Johnson. What's this guy doing? Why is Mike sitting there telling her not to put this up for a vote? My answer, I don't think they have the votes. I don't think Republicans are willing to vote for this. As to why, I don't know, you guys. They don't have a backbone. It's so frustrating. So she's thinking, well, what else can we do? Well, let's impose a fine on the guy. So that's where we're at with this. I was wondering, because we reported on it, well, where's the news of Representative Luna Paulina putting this guy up in contempt of Congress and putting up the vote? It never happened. It never happened. I don't know. Let's see in the chat. Do you guys think, would you guys rather have Merrick Garland in jail or have a $10,000 fine a day until he gives the recordings? The show would be at probably 2:15 Eastern Standard Time, 2 o'clock, 2:15. I'll put it up, Michelle. You'll see a thumbnail for it. I'll have it posted after the show so you guys know when you show up and you can hang out with us. We always love hanging out as a community. I can't wait for this, dude. I'm so excited. Now it's just made my day. I mean, you guys hanging out with me makes my day, of course. That's like a shoo-in, but anywho. So we got illegal immigration stuff with you guys, folks. More updates. Since day one, I made a promise with you. We'd keep you up to date. So Biden admin, this psycho, Pat calls him, he's a thumb. I think he's one of the most evil people in all of Congress other than Adam Schiff, AOC, Ilhan Omar, the whole squad. Well, he's blocking an order that prevents thousands of illegal immigrants from Haiti from being deported. But remember, and I'm always going to say this and I repeat myself, Joe Biden's doing everything he can to fix this, you guys. Joe Biden's doing everything he possibly can to figure the whole shebang that's going out the border out. Remember, this is the guy that didn't allow Doug Ducey of Arizona, Greg Abbott of Texas to put in buoys and razor wire because it was going to harm illegal immigrants. Yes, you heard that correctly. Karine Jean-Pierre went as far as basically implying that Border Patrol were going to die because there's freaking razor wire up. Karine Jean-Pierre also reiterated the fact that they're doing everything they can. They're not stopping Texas and Arizona from all this stuff. Are you crazy? It's a really remarkable thing that on the podium, they'll sit there and say they're doing everything they can, but behind closed doors, they're putting in lawsuit after lawsuit on this whole illegal immigration stuff. While they're saying, well, we're doing everything we can. Dude, it drives me up a wall because Democrats believe this. They sit there and go, oh yeah, that's absolutely right. He's doing everything he can. Look at the guy. He's losing sleep over it. He's not losing sleep. Like the page 6 of the New York Post was him only working from 10 to 4 p.m. And we said even that was bullshit. He's working from noon to 4. He's working from noon, 4 hours a day. Okay, he's not losing any sleep. That's why he's chauffeured out and he has CPAP machines on his face. Folks, come on. So Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, the nut job, said the move was over humanitarian concerns. Humanitarian concerns related to ongoing conflicts in their homeland. Oh, so now it's humanitarian concerns. Remember when Kamala Harris flew over the border? Not many. We have a lot of new subscribers. A lot of people don't know this. Early on, she flew over the border and she handed out cookies with her face on it. We showed images of it. You're like, Brad, there's no fucking way she did that. She did. She handed out cookies, sugar cookies, when she flew over the border to South America, like El Salvador, Honduras. She handed out sugar cookies with her face on it. She comes back. She flies back over the border. Doesn't actually visit the border. She's the border czar. She was put in place to fix it. Flies back over the border. And her answer was, global climate warming. Global warming climate. Warming climate global. Like, that's what she... It's like... It's unbelievable. I always have to throw that in there. You guys look like you're having a blast in the chat. I love it. I love it. Look at the community we're making, man. Oh, I love seeing it. God bless you. So around 200,000. Shit, let's just throw that in there. 200,000 Haitians, many of whom entered the U.S. unlawfully, were already shielded from deportation. Oh, isn't that just lovely? Which has been extended by 18 months, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The order extends protections to cover approximately 309,000 more Haitians. So just half 500,000 people, no big deal. The deportation prevention applies to Haitians in the country on or before June 3rd. Quote, we are providing this humanitarian relief to Haitians already present in the United States, given the conditions that extend in their home country as of June 3rd. Okay. Another 18 months. So let me do the math here. Who might be president in 18 months? Oh, that's right. That's right. Donald Trump. Or maybe Joe Biden. Please don't feel like Donald Trump is going to win, you guys. It's not a shoo-in yet. This is by far from a shoo-in. It's razor thin, even though after the debate, believe it or not, it's razor thin. Don't believe those polls one bit. Democrats made that mistake in 2016, right? They made the mistake with looking at the polls and they didn't show up. They didn't show up to the voter places. They looked at the polls and go, well, Hillary Clinton's a shoo-in. Why even bother going out? She won. Why? And then we swept the floor with her. We swept the floor with her because we showed up. We can't make the same mistakes as Democrats. So the press release came out and that's what they're doing. So just lovely. It really is just mind-boggling stuff there. No, they're going to protect all these people because you guys humanitarian, right? Humanitarian stuff. Weird because illegal immigrant who re-entered U.S. after deportation charged with sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl. It's every day we're coming out with articles like this. Every single day. And Joe Biden's all for it. Joe Biden, as we've always said, has created millions of new jobs. Joe Biden has sat there and created businesses, you guys. He's more of a businessman than Donald Trump. I know you're going, there's no way, Brad, you could say that. Guys, no, he's created multi-billion-dollar industries. Drug trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking. No, he's creating businesses, you guys. It's just not for Americans. It's for everybody else around the world. Yeah. No, he's a great business guy. Look, he's raking in millions, you guys. Except it's just Americans aren't getting those jobs. Everybody else is, like Donald Trump said. Well, you have this psycho here. An illegal immigrant who was previously deported from the United States allegedly just re-entered the country and has been charged with sexual battery after he assaulted a 14-year-old girl. We've seen 12-year-old girls raped. We've seen 13-year-old girls raped and murdered. Now we got 14-year-old girls that have been assaulted. So Jose Chan, a 24-year-old foreign national from Guatemala. Oh, Guatemala, South America. Kamala Harris said that they're here because of climate change and here for a better life. And they had to escape, you know, the terrible area of which their country was struggling in. Weird. You guys seeing the connection? Weird connection. Huh. Well, now he sat there and assaulted a 14-year-old girl, and the girl's now in the hospital. But you guys don't. No. Hey, whoa. This guy, no, he's here for a better life. Didn't you know? He's just here to feed his family, folks. Huh. That's what we're told by Democrats. He's just here. He's here for a better life. He wants to feed his family, make life easy. No. Then why are they going after? Why are they going after young girls all the time? A medical examination of the victim showed a positive finding for sexual abuse. Florida Department of Law Enforcement lab results also found evidence of the girl's DNA on Chan. Chan is currently in jail, though Borders and Customs Patrol had requested to take him into custody. The suspect was previously deported back in February 9th, 2024. Weird. So he just came back in a matter of like 3 months. That's just lovely. That's just freaking lovely. Thanks, Joe. No, Joe, don't. You're the threat, though. No, you're the threat, you guys, at democracy, because you want to sit there and lock up the border. We're doing everything we can. We're doing everything we can. Shut up, Joe. Can we not elect this guy again? Democrats, if you're in here, can we get, we're done. Okay, we're done with the silliness, all right? Now's the time to lock it up, retire the Biden jersey, put it up, burn it, whatever the hell you want to do with it. Joe's done. The Democrat Party's finished. We don't need any more of your shit. We lasted and dealt with it for long enough. Now the temper tantrum's done, okay? The temper tantrum's over. The problem is, could somebody notify AOC that the temper tantrum's over? Can we get this wannabe out of office? The problem is they voted for her again, you guys. We're stuck with AOC for a lot longer. This psycho. Jesus, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with Democrats here. Threatened to impeach members. So she sat there and threatened to impeach members of the Supreme Court on Monday after the High Court ruled that presidents have immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts that they take, but not for official conduct. So I'm not going to go hash this out, but because she didn't get her way, we have to sit here and hear her complain because they didn't get their way. And that's why Cori Bush is on X right now calling for the packing of the courts, because they don't get their way on things, which, by the way, nothing happened. They technically didn't really rule on anything. As far as my understanding, they just sat there like, hey, this is what we have right now, but what we want to do is we want to send it back to the lower courts so you can basically refine what your definition is of official versus unofficial, so we can bring it back up and actually can rule on it again, because you didn't make a case for yourself in actuality. And so she's going to sit there and take the podium like Karine Jean-Pierre and all these other psychos on the Democrat side of the aisle and go, well, they're going to hire Navy SEALs to take people out, and Donald Trump can murder people in the streets, and he's going to kill everybody. Oh, God. That's not far off. That's really not far off what I just did. We played a clip of Joe Scarborough saying that Donald Trump's just going to start executing people in the streets. Where they get this stuff, I don't know. They act like Donald Trump has a history of just a mob guy taking people out. I don't know where they get this. They just pull it out of their ass like Joe Biden does. Maybe that's where they get it from. Joe Biden just consistently sitting there and just pulling stuff out of his diaper all the time. And we have to hear them complain about it all the time. So I want to see if there's any updates here for y'all before we move on. But more money, as I mentioned, for Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working. You got more money in your pocket, except you don't. And, I had to share this one with you. Here's the Vogue. I have a couple of, remember, our computer crashed literally a minute 30 before we were about to go live. So this is what I had prepared for you guys before. Look at this shot. A few laughs, right? A few lighthearted stuff. Look at Jill Biden answers questions for her husband. 5 ways to explain away a bad night. Rubber sole shoes. How to beat Medicare. Best activities between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Dude, the New York Post has been going ham on Joe Biden. A lot of rumors out there that Jill's the one running the country. We showed a picture of her previously. Did we not call it, though? Look, sometimes I got to give myself on the back, because when we can beat the mainstream news, when we can beat outlets like Fox or heck, even the Daily Wire or others, we're a small channel, right? It's just me by myself, no producers, nothing, just here in my closet, hanging out with fine patriots such as yourself. We got to give ourselves a pat on the back every now and then. We said that you're going to see a lot more of Jill Biden escorting this guy around, taking him off stage, bringing him on stage, giving speeches, kind of eating up the time for this guy because he can't do it. The guy can't sit there and be out there and answer questions. That's why his Supreme Court speech yesterday was like 3.5, 4 minutes long. He can't do it. So that's why we were out front of this. And I said early on, this months ago, saying, hey, you're going to see a lot more of Jill. You're going to see a lot more. And look at after the debate. Who'd you see come out and show up for her husband off the stage to get down from one step, basically a curb? Joe Biden, Jill Biden, sitting there coming out, escorting one another. And by escorting one another, it's mostly Jill escorting Joe around. Truly, truly remarkable stuff. Man, we are blowing up on freaking Twitter, on Rumble here, guys. I'm getting a lot of notifications. You're following me over. No, you guys are amazing. Look at what you're writing in the chat. God, you guys are too nice to me. Sometimes you give me shit, but I deserve it. Hey, at least you know I could take it, right? Hey, man, what happened yesterday? Well, you know, I screwed up. I didn't hit the go live button at the top, even though I thought I was live because it shows myself. But that's here nor there, okay? It's here nor there. I want to show this because everybody's calling it Bronzegate. Everybody. This is Joe Biden during his speech yesterday. Like I said, it was only like 4 minutes long. And they bronzed the guy up. I don't know who the mortician was that thought it would be a good idea to basically show as if Joe Biden has blood on his face, but the lighting must have been off when he was in there on the gurney. Because the mortician, I think, just really messed up on Joe here.
Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. Not even the President of the United States. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
I just love the fact he says no one is above the law. And so how did the speech end, you guys? How did the speech end? Do you think Joe took questions from the press? Remember, since day one, most transparent presidency that's ever existed. That's not my words. No. That's what they came out and unraveled for all of us when they entered in the office of the presidency. So let's just see how transparent Joe is here, you guys. Let's watch him answer these questions. He does a great job here. Oh, wait a minute. Weird. Where's he going?
What makes you so confident you should be the president? What advice did you grant?
The dude just did a 180. He's like, I'm out of here. Wow. No questions answered. If you're somebody that is working to have the PR of the president get better, by him turning around and not answering anybody's questions is not a good look. And he can't do it. He has never been on that podium. That's the same podium that Jean-Pierre stands on, which will go live again later today to cover the White House press briefing. He's never been there. Now, we personally know some reporters in the White House press briefing room. I'll even call them out. Jackie Heinrich, we know very well. She's a great reporter. And then Philip Wegman of Real Clear Politics. If you don't follow them, go watch their stuff, especially Philip Wegman of Real Clear Politics. The guy's a boss, one of the best reporters in that room, does not get called on enough. They sit there and don't get their questions answered, and they don't even get time with the president. They don't get any time with the president. There's this photo that I gotta find that I had freaking queued up, and it was I think it was, let me find it for you. I apologize. This is so unprofessional. But again, the computer crashed. I had it queued up for all of you guys. I want to find this picture of Joe Biden. There it is. It's right here. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. Look at me, Jack. I'm the orange man now. Oh, God. And then look what people are writing. Oh, let me move myself. Look what people are writing. On the right here, white liberals, black conservative liberals right now. Biden tries new strategy. My son Bo died building the wall. Look at I had to share that. I'm like, I think the Patriots will love that. I think the Bald Brad Army would love that. Oh my God, it's too good. Well, we had a lot more prepared. And I think what we'll do is we'll shuffle in the stuff that I had previously ready to go for you in that 15, 30 minutes that we go live before the White House press briefing starts. And so we'll be back here at, I guess it would be 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to cover the White House press briefing. Thank you so much for the support. Dizzy, thank you so much for another $20. That's really gracious and kind of you. Bidenomics makes things tough. And, all of that really does help support the show. It helps us get out there and push our content out to new viewers through advertising. And it really helps. You put your money into it by supporting the show. I put my money in it by just being here and paying for everything. But you guys know what I mean. But I appreciate you guys helping out and always taking care of each other, even in live chat. So just calling out some people. We got Sweet Sunset. Shelby's here. Dizzy, Krager, Bear. Who else we got in here? Shib. We got Lulu, Michelle, if I didn't already say, Andrew. Got a lot of people. Jerry, Music Junkie. We got people over at Rumble. Michelle, Pat's over there. Lord Muffin. We got Willie. Got a lot of people. Good grief, CC. Always appreciate. Over at Twitter, we got Pat and a few others. We're trying to grow on Twitter as well. Well, folks, with that being said, we'll be back here today with the charades from the White House press briefing, where Karine Jean-Pierre, in the first 2 weeks, takes the podium to answer press's questions. And you know what it's all going to be about. It's going to be about President Joe Biden's brain. It's going to be about the debate. It's going to be about, is he going to be dropping out of office? What do you think about the Supreme Court cases that were there? Folks, buckle up, double buckle, and get ready for the day, folks, because damn, it's going to be a good one. I will see you next time here, which will be later today on The Paul Brad Show.